$100. That's it. That's less than most Americans spend on food delivery in a single month, less than a tank of gas and a couple of Starbucks runs. $100. And I'm about to show you exactly what happens when you take that same $100 every single month and put it to work instead of spending it. Because here's the part that's going to mess with your head. The answer isn't just, you'll save some money. The answer is something so wildly different from what most people expect that when I show you the actual numbers, you're probably going to rewind this video just to make sure you heard me right. Stay right there, we're getting into it. Let's be real about something for a second. When most people hear invest $100 a month, their first reaction is something like, okay, but what's that actually going to do for me? Like $100 feels small. It feels almost embarrassingly small in a world where everybody on social media is talking about six-figure portfolios and retiring at 35. And that reaction makes complete sense. We live in a culture that's obsessed with go big or go home. We see the highlight reels. We hear the stories about somebody who threw 10 grand into some stock and tripled their money in a year. And suddenly, $100 a month feels like bringing a water pistol to a firefight. But here's the thing, and this is genuinely one of the most important things I'm ever going to tell you on this channel. The people who actually build lasting, real wealth in this country, the ones who retire comfortably, who have options, who don't lie awake at 3 in the morning stressed about money, the overwhelming majority of them didn't do it with some wild swing. They did it with consistency. They did it with showing up every single month and putting money to work no matter what the market was doing, no matter what was happening in their life. $100 a month invested consistently is not a small move. It is genuinely one of the most powerful financial decisions a person can make. And I'm going to prove that to you with real numbers right now. All right, so let's actually run the math. And I want you to really pay attention here because these numbers are not made up. This is straight compound interest, historical market average returns, real calculations. The US stock market, specifically the S&P 500, has historically returned an average of about 10% annually over the long term. Some years it's up 25%, some years it drops. But averaged out over decades, 10% is the number most financial professionals use for long-term projections. So that's what we're working with. You start investing $100 every single month. You're 25 years old. You don't change anything. You don't try to time the market. You don't panic when things go down. You just invest $100 every month consistently until you're 65. Over those 40 years, you've personally put in $48,000. That's your actual money out of pocket, $48,000, which honestly, if you broke that down, it's just $1,200 a year. That's genuinely less than what most people spend on subscriptions they don't even use. But here's what your account actually looks like at 65. $637,000. $637,000 from $100 a month. You put in $48,000 of your own money and compound interest, the market doing its thing while you lived your life, generated over $589,000 on top of it. That is not a typo. That's not some get-rich-quick scheme. That is 8th grade math applied consistently over time. Now, let's say you're 35 when you start. You've got 30 years instead of 40. Same $100 a month, same 10% average return. You personally contribute $36,000. Your account at 65? About $227,000. Still incredible. Still more than most Americans have saved. But look at the difference. Starting at 25 versus starting at 35 costs you over $400,000 in final wealth. Not because you invested more money, you actually invested more if you started at 35 and went to 65. The difference is purely time, purely the extra years you gave compound interest to work. That right there is why people who understand this stuff talk about time in the market like it's the most valuable asset you own, because it genuinely is. So if the math is this clear, if the numbers are this straightforward, why aren't more people doing it? Why does the average American retirement savings look nothing like that $637,000 number? And this is where it gets real. The first reason is what I'd call the someday trap. People look at their finances right now and they think, okay, things are tight.
I'll start investing when I have more breathing room, when I get the raise, when the kids are older, when I pay off this credit card, when things settle down. And someday never comes. Not because those people are lazy or irresponsible, but because life doesn't slow down and wait for you to feel financially ready. It just keeps moving. The brutal truth is that the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Even if $100 feels tight right now, the habit matters more than the amount in the beginning. The second reason is that investing feels complicated and intimidating to most people who didn't grow up around it. Like if nobody in your household talked about the stock market, if your parents weren't investing, the whole concept can feel like this exclusive club where you need to know special things just to get in the door. And that feeling keeps millions of people on the sidelines for years while compound interest is out there working for someone else. The third reason, and this one's probably the most common, is that people can see the $100 right now. It's real, it's tangible. It could be dinner out, or something the kids need, or just a little bit of breathing room in a tight week. But $637,000 in 40 years is abstract. The human brain is just wired to value what's in front of us over what's coming down the road. That's not a character flaw, that's just how we're built. But understanding it means you can build systems that work around it. Okay, so let's talk about how you actually make this happen, because theory without a plan is just entertainment. The first thing you need is a brokerage account. If you don't have one yet, this is genuinely the week to fix that. Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard are the three names you're going to hear most often, and for good reason. They're reliable, they have low fees, and they're straightforward to use. You can open an account in about 15 minutes with no minimum balance required. There's no complicated process. It's honestly easier than setting up a new streaming service. Now, once you've got the account, the single most important thing you can do is set up automatic contributions. Don't make investing a decision you have to make every month. Make it automatic. The moment your paycheck hits, $100 goes directly into your investment account before you even see it, before you even have the chance to spend it. This is called paying yourself first, and it is the most underrated move in personal finance. When it's automatic, you stop thinking about it as money you're giving up. It just becomes part of how your money works. For what to actually invest in, if you're just getting started, keep it simple. A total market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund is where most financial professionals point beginners, and for solid reasons. You're getting instant diversification across hundreds of companies. The fees are incredibly low, and you're riding the long-term growth of the American economy, which over 200 plus years has consistently moved in one direction over time, up. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to watch CNBC every morning. You don't need to understand every term in the financial world. You just need to be consistent, stay in the market, and let time do what time does. One more thing. If your employer offers a 401k with any kind of match, that is free money on the table, and it should be your absolute first priority before anything else. A 3% match on a $50,000 salary is $1,500 a year that your company is handing you for free. Don't leave that on the table, ever. I want to talk about something that doesn't come up enough in finance content, and it's the mindset side of this whole thing. Because here's what I've seen over and over again. Two people learn the exact same information. They both understand the compound interest math, they both know what index funds are, they both have the same income, and one of them starts, stays consistent, and builds real wealth over time. The other one never quite gets started or bails out the first time the market drops 15%.
The difference isn't knowledge. The difference is how they handle the psychological side of investing. The market is going to go down. Not might, it is going to go down. Multiple times over your investing lifetime, you're going to watch your account balance drop, sometimes significantly. And in those moments, every instinct in your body is going to scream at you to stop, to pull your money out, to wait until things feel safer. And that instinct is the single most expensive mistake an investor can make. When the market drops, your $100 a month buys more shares than it did when prices were high. You are literally getting a discount. The people who kept investing consistently through the 2008 crash, through the 2020 COVID crash, through every single dip and correction, those people look like geniuses right now.
Not because they were smarter than everyone else, because they stayed the course when it was uncomfortable. Consistency during the hard times is what separates the people who actually end up with $637,000 from the ones who started, stopped, started again, and ended up back at zero. The strategy is simple. The execution requires a mindset that most people genuinely underestimate. Here is exactly what I need you to do before this week is over. Not when things slow down, not when it feels like the right time, this week. Open a brokerage account if you don't have one. Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard. Pick one and go. 15 minutes, done. If you already have one, move to the next step right now. Set up an automatic monthly contribution. Pick a number, whether that's $100, $50, or even $25 to start, and automate it. The amount matters less right now than the habit. You can increase it later, just get it moving. If your employer offers a 401k match and you're not maximizing it, log into your HR portal this week and change your contribution percentage. Do it before Friday. That match is a guaranteed return on your money that literally nothing else in the financial world can compete with. Then, and this is important, leave it alone. Don't check it every day, don't panic when it goes down, just let it work. Come back in 10 years and try not to be shocked at what consistent, boring, automatic investing actually built for you. $100 a month. That's where this whole thing started today. And look, I get it. When you first heard that number at the top of this video, it probably felt too small to matter, too simple to actually work. But the math doesn't lie. Time doesn't lie. And the people sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars right now because they started with something small and stayed consistent, they'll tell you the same thing. This isn't complicated. It never was. The only thing that ever stood between most people and real financial progress is just getting started and then not quitting. You've got the information now. You know what to do. The rest is just a decision. And if this video helped you see something differently today, if something clicked that didn't quite click before, there's a new video coming next week that I think is going to hit just as hard. It's about what to do when you've got debt and you want to start investing at the same time, because that's real life for a lot of people. And the answer is a lot more straightforward than most people realize. If you want to catch that one when it drops, you know where the subscribe button is. I'll see you next week.